Hey you folks, Quilly here with a quick video with my impressions of Borderlands 4. I'm not really going to do a lot of gameplay in this video because no one wants to see me and my shaky hands try to aim. Honestly, it'll just make all y'all sick. But here's what I think. I have played all the Borderlands games. I've played through Borderlands 1, I played through Borderlands 2 twice, once by myself and once with some friends. I played halfway through Borderlands 3 twice, once by myself and once with some friends, and neither time could we manage to finish Borderlands 3 because it just fell flat. Now, I don't really have, I don't know if it's knowledge or some level of awareness to really able to pin down what made Borderlands 3 not work so well. Other people have made these amazing little essays and discussions about this very topic. I think my theory is that Borderlands 2 was so good because there's a great villain and some great humor, and then just like kind of the Thor Love and Thunder problem, they were like, well, people liked the funny, so let's go all in on funny and irreverence, and it didn't quite work out that way. Plus, was the world less fun to explore? Not so much. The core combat was excellent, arguably much better than the previous iterations, but for some reason, it didn't really work quite as well. So what about Borderlands 4? So far, and I'm about 10 hours in, I mean, I don't play super fast, I'm level like 13 or something like that. Let's take a look at the skills page. Oh, level 14 over here, and I have explored just a fraction of the world. I'm not going to really talk about much in the way of what I've done because I don't want to spoil it for people who have played it. But I will say this. Right from the get-go, right from the initial introduction to the game, you're about 1.5 seconds in after the initial sort of story cutscene, and already I hate the villain with every fiber of my being, and I will need to finish this game just to be able to shoot him in his stupid face. It was that effective of an introduction. I felt very invested right away. And more importantly, and this was one of my issues with Borderlands 3, in BL3, I found the introductory sort of first couple of maps very dull. Very sort of linear, but also I didn't enjoy navigating it really. This felt completely different here in Borderlands 4. The initial relatively linear introduction area actually felt interesting and fresh to get through. And then they dump you into this open world area. Now, Borderlands has always been open worldy to a certain extent, but Borderlands 4, they talked about it. They were going to lean into it even more. The idea of like, oh, you see that mountain over there? You can get to that mountain. You can climb that mountain. These are all places you can go. No loading screens whatsoever. Obviously, there's a bit of an exception if you're doing a fast travel. Then there'll be a little bit of a load over there, but otherwise really smooth. I'll also say playing on my computer on PC, I have not had any performance issues, but that is one of the things that a lot of people have struggled with. There's a couple issues on consoles, and there's a couple of issues that affect certain PCs and things like that. I'm playing on my RTX 4070 video card. I haven't messed with the graphic settings, but I am averaging a solid 100 FPS throughout. Right now, my camera is at 102 FPS is what I'm getting with this scene. Obviously, we're not in the middle of action or anything like that, but the performance has been fine for me, but the mileage might vary. Now, let's talk about this open world stuff. One of the issues that sometimes happen when a game advertises itself as open world, about 80% of the time, don't have a great experience with it. And why is it? Well, first of all, lots of people who do lots of so-called open world games are just kind of terrible. They're tedious. They have a big, overly huge world as sort of a replacement for a really interesting environmental storytelling, and a sense of exploration that is actually satisfying in some way. That is not the case here in Borderlands 4. I really enjoy navigating the world. I don't feel like walking around is too tedious. We've got some fun new mechanics. We've got this grapple. We've got a glide mechanic, and lots of verticality. There's climbing sections. All kinds of great stuff that adds some good variety. You do also at some point get yourself a little vehicle that speeds things up. And there's a variety of ways that you can customize this vehicle with different engines and things like that. And that is super cool. This orb area over here would actually be a world boss fight that you can find. So there's some really rewarding stuff. I feel so far it feels like the world isn't too big but isn't too small. You're getting that Goldilocks zone of encountering things properly. It's really satisfying. There is one thing I hate. And I will demonstrate it to you right now. And if you are not new to the channel, you are probably expecting it's something to do with the user interface. And you would be 100% right. Now, obviously Borderlands is a big console game as well, and therefore some of the user interface stuff that happens in games like that have to be made in such a way that works on console. Some games end up doing two very different user interfaces between console and PC. And I did come to the right place, right? Oh, I'm downstairs. Okay. Sometimes there's a wildly different UI between the two. Sometimes they're the same, and what tends to happen is the PC interface sort of suffers because you're having to make an interface that works for low resolution situations with control type access. Now, Borderlands, I think, does have a unified user interface for both, and sometimes that's felt a little bit cumbersome. I have to say, so far, in almost every aspect, Borderlands 4 feels better from a UI point of view on PC than the previous titles. Now, I haven't played it on console. For all I know, the PC interface is a fair bit different from console, although I suspect that if I plugged in my controller right now, I would have the exact same UI, except instead of telling me to push X to toggle junk, it would tell me to push, well, honestly, it might still be X because there's an X button on most controllers, but you know what I mean, right? The only issue, and honestly, this is something that isn't a design flaw, which makes me happy. It's an implementation flaw, which I'm hoping will be patched. If you go and you want to look through your weapons, okay, I don't have a lot of inventory right now, so this isn't going to seem like a serious issue at this moment. Actually, if I go and pick up my lost items here, which is right over here, I bet you I've got a ton of crap in here waiting to pick up. Okay, so if I've done that, now I should have a ton of inventory in here. For different values of tons. It's when I click on one of these slots, or if I go to my backpack, which shows me all my items, including shields and grenade mods and things like that, which are here. Here, I'm just looking at weapons. It sorts by manufacturer by the default, which is a pretty stupid default. I suspect this actually isn't so bad once you get into the ultra late game, your level cap and all those things, and you might actually have a build that's specifically meant to work with a particular class of manufactured weapons. Maybe that's not an unreasonable default, but most of the time that's not going to be too helpful. A lot of times we're going to want to sort by rarity or by level or down on weapons. Maybe you want to go something like, DPS, for example, right? These are all really, really good possibilities. And it's nice that these sorting options exist. You can also filter, so I can say, just show me everything that's common. Well, technically the others are still there. They're just grayed out, and I can go ahead and reset this filter. It's also really nice. You can right click on this and mark it for a few different things. You can mark it so that you want to bank something. You can mark it for junk, which this is, hence the little trash can. I can unmark it. I can remark it over there. You can flag it as a favorite, and you can have your custom tag groups, which is actually pretty brilliant. That was a bit of a misclick there. What was I packing? I think I was packing this weapon there. The issue is, if I click on this, notice it's gone back to sort by manufacturer. Okay, hold on. I want to sort by rarity. Okay, and then it'll stay through here. That's good. But then if I pick a weapon and then click, it goes back to freaking manufacturer every time, which is super, super unuseful. And honestly, that's the only complaint I have, really. Oh, technically, I did run into a bit of an issue. So if you use X, you can toggle a junk. See, now it's working. I'm mousing over this large leaded pocket. Oh, actually, notice the tooltip. Oh, maybe that is correct. Okay, yeah, I thought this was a gun, but I guess this is a pocket dock. But if I hit X, you can see it's putting the trash junk icon on and off over there. Sometimes, and I don't know why, maybe it's when I have one of these filters down, it doesn't do the right one. It does the one in the row above. So I've since reloaded the game, and maybe it's okay. That's clearly just an actual bug. It was doing the wrong one. But this sorting thing, sort by manufacturer, which again, arguably, one might prefer, say, sort by level as a default. I guess the reason maybe they're doing it that way is because the sort is also indicating the text over here. So you can see the levels, where if it's sorted by manufacturer, you do see the manufacturer names. And having that listed could be handy. But why doesn't it remember what you set it to last? That's so far, that's my only complaint. That's really it. The quest rewards feel pretty cool. You get if I go back over here, I probably don't have any waiting. A lot of times a quest will reward you with some extra stuff over here. If I go to the missions, I'm going to show you, this is a This is not a story mission. These are kind of repeatable things. When you're at a safe house, you can pick up these repeatable contracts. Well, repeatable. I don't know. Like randomly generated contracts or different things. You can hold on to 5 of these. These have nothing to do with missions. You can actually repeat your missions as well if you've done one, which is kind of nifty. But you can see here the rewards, and that'll include like some guns, and sometimes it'll include some cosmetics and things. And those just show up as kind of a little openable loot box on this screen here, which feels very satisfying. Obviously, you're picking up tons of stuff. I like looter shooters like Borderlands for the same reason I like action RPGs. It's the combination of fast-paced, mindless action with really crunchy numbers and math during your downtime when you're trying to like work and optimize your build. And so far, Borderlands 4 has been an extremely satisfying experience. I am usually busy with lots of other games. Will I have time to finish Borderlands 4? I hope I do on my own. Will I be able to play it with my friends? Hopefully, although it's quite pricey. And so my friends will mostly be waiting for a sale. I was lucky enough to get a code. I would not have paid like 90 Canadian buckaroos for this right now, mostly because I know I don't have that much free time for it. But it was hard to say no to a free one, and so far I've been really enjoying myself. Whether that's not a statement in terms of whether you should buy it or not. Obviously, there's price things, and there are some performance issues for some people right now, and so you might want to pay close attention to what people with your similar hardware report in terms of performance. The reviews for this game were fantastic. And then on Steam, the user reviews on Steam are quite poor, mostly because of performance issues. So to me, that's a good sign because it tells us that the core gameplay is solid, but there's some release day issues, and so it might be a wait until patch 1, or maybe wait for the first sale. Although this being a pretty new game, I wouldn't expect a sale for quite some time. I wouldn't necessarily even anticipate a Christmas sale at this point. So who knows? But anyway, that's it. I just wanted to say a few words about Borderlands because I was talking about it in Discord that I was playing it. Some people were asking me about it. And so my verdict is just, I've been having a heck of a lot of fun with it. I really want this to be fixed because it annoys me. Otherwise, honestly, the inventory management has been pretty fine. I really like just being able to mark things as junk here. Also, to use a filter. Like, let's say I go into... actually, here's not a bad suggestion. If I go and over in this view... You can see here there's a mark all filters. So this is showing me everything that I can see in this view right now. So like I could shrink this so I could show only common or something like that. But let's say I go with no filters. So if I hold this, everything that I can see in this thing, I'm going to mark as junk because I don't care for it. And then I'll do the same thing. I'll look through, okay, what is my current healing item? I will compare versus these others. And then if I'm satisfied with the situation, I will mark the rest as junk. Same thing with the grenades. Yeah, I'm not going to be keeping these, junk those. And these healing items, I'm probably going to do that. I mean, I'm still leveling right now. So, ooh, hang on. Something weird's going on. There it is. Ooh, that was very strange. I thought I was going to crash. It hasn't happened yet, but I did get some sort of visual glitch there. I kind of semi-expected based on what people were saying, and based on the fact that the game doesn't really behave that well for me when I tab in and out, I kind of fully expected with OBS to maybe a crash. A lot of people were trying to stream this game and experiencing crashes. I suspect there's something not playing nicely there. So that might be part of it. Anyway, now that everything's been just marked as trash, what we can do is find a vending machine. Right, and I can just, those are, see, these are the contracts. You can only hold 5, and I've got 5 contracts going around, so I can't accept any of these. But, you can see, they're just generic, like, go and kill a type of thing, or go and find a type of thing. Kind of repeatable fun if you want to do that, if you want to grind out some XP, but totally optional. So I can just hit here, sell my junk. It feels pretty good. I mean, obviously, some of these mechanics were in previous iterations of Borderlands, but everything, this just feels like, it feels like Borderlands done better. Thanks for watching. I don't expect I'll be showing a lot of Borderlands gameplay because again, my shooting would mostly be like this, and no one wants to see this. But I can still mostly kill things, so it works out for me. Me and my shaky hands. Bye-bye.